Hi OTC Foodies, it's Terry. Our recipe today is, or should be, Galaxy brownies. Now they're a copycat recipe of, you could say one of the brownies you find in the store that's boxed and in the little packages with the sprinkles on top. Not that I'm going to say who it is. But this is like a copycat recipe. I'm just adding my own little touch to it, and we're going to be decorating it a little bit differently. Not too much though. So this is going to be like a chewy brownie with a chocolate ganache on top. So there's a few stages to this, but it's nothing really difficult. All right, so in this pot over here, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of butter, which is 1.5 sticks of butter. And then I have 1.5 cups of regular sugar. Now you can do this in the microwave, but I'm going to be mixing everything together, so I'm just going to stay in that pot. And then 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar. And we're going to stir that together. We want the butter to melt and the sugars to be incorporated. Now these are great to make and pack in the lunchbox for the kids or to take to work. They're best if you keep them in the refrigerator, so that way they stay nice and cold and got that chill to them, which is like sticking a candy bar in the freezer, you know. That's really good. All right, so we're gonna let this melt for a second. All right, my little secret ingredient is some coffee. This is dried coffee or espresso. And I like adding that to chocolate just because it gives it I guess a deeper flavor. It's rich. But we'll add that in a minute. After you make these, your kids won't want the packaged stuff. Trust me. This is so much better than what you could buy in the store. And it's really not very hard. So you can see we've got the butter and sugar is melting together. And my oven is preheating to 350 degrees. All right, all my butter is melted and we have incorporated the sugars in the butter. Now I'm not doing this with a mixer because you don't want to overmix your brownie batter, because then it's going to be too tough. So we're going to be doing this all by hand. All right, so that's coming off. Take my secret ingredient here. All right, we've got to let this cool for just a second. So while this is cooling, we're going to talk about our pan. So our pan is a 9 by 13 pan. It's non-stick, but we want to lay some parchment paper in there because we need a sling for it so we can pick it up out of the pan and slice it. So I find one of the best ways to use parchment paper to fit it in the corners is by crinkling it up first. Now we're going to spray our pan. Even though it's non-stick, we still want to put a little release in the pan. This will help the parchment stick to the pan. There we go. All right, now I take my parchment paper here. Now it fits better in the corners. Stay. All right. Gonna give this a stir. All right, next we're going to add 3 eggs and 1 egg yolk. We're going to do one at a time. You can break the egg. Next. Our last egg yolk. All right, next we're going to add in a tablespoon of vanilla. It was probably more than a tablespoon. I'm going to add in some of my instant coffee, about a tablespoon as well. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. 1 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to mix that in. All right, next we need 1½ cups of cocoa. So make sure you use good quality cocoa because it will let you know. It will taste off if it's not good quality cocoa. So I like to use Hershey's. It's half. One. And a half. Next we have 1 cup of flour that we're adding in. Okay. And we're just going to mix this in. Okay, you want to mix it until it's incorporated. It's not going to be completely smooth, but you want to make sure you have all of it incorporated together. There's nothing on the bottom. And everything is mixed in. All right, the last is a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil that we add in at the very end. that you have to be careful stirring in, or otherwise it's going to splash all over the place. All right, we're gonna spray our parchment real quick. And then into the pan it goes. Smooth this out a little bit. It's going to be very dense and fudgy. Okay. All right, this goes into our 350-degree oven. 24 to 26 minutes, but you want to start checking it at about 20 minutes. You don't want to overcook it. So as soon as you can put a toothpick in and nothing comes out on that toothpick, take them out. Once we take them out, we're gonna let them cool for a few minutes, and then we'll start working our ganache. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven, and then we're gonna come back and make our ganache and finish off our brownies. Welcome back to our Galaxy brownies. So our brownies are out of the oven and they're cooling, and we need to let them cool for about 30 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna make our ganache, which this is perfect timing. While these are cooling, our ganache is gonna be made and it's gonna cool. Now I've got half a cup of whole milk that I have cooked or warmed up until it's extremely hot. 1 bag of chocolate chips, that's 12 ounces, and 6 tablespoons of butter. Now you want to make sure you use whole milk. I wouldn't go with skim or anything like that. And then we're going to stir these together until everything is melted. Now we're gonna let this ganache sit up for a little bit before we pour them over the brownies. So we really kind of need it to firm up a little bit. This is not gonna be a very hard ganache on the top. It's gonna be like a frosting in a way. If you want something that's gonna be very firm, then use heavy cream. If you want something that's going to be a little less firm, then milk is fine. The whole milk is fine. Butter is going to take it a minute to... All right, so I'm going to sit here and stir this for about 3 more minutes or 4 until we can get all the butter to melt. So after I get all this incorporated and the butter is melted, we're going to let both of these sit for about 20 more minutes, and then we will finish off our Galaxy brownies. So stay tuned and check back in a few more minutes. Welcome back. So our brownies have been chilling for about 20-25 minutes. Our ganache has been sitting as well. And you can see it's nice and smooth. We've had the butter melt into the chocolate. And now it's time to finish off our our galaxy brownies. All right, so we're just gonna pour this on top. Looks like a little bit of butter left in there. Smooth this out. All right, and then top it with our sprinkles. There we go. There is our cosmic brownies. They go back in the refrigerator till they're cool. And when they've chilled, take it out and then slice it into little rectangles there. So, hope you've enjoyed the recipe today. And if you like your recipes and what you see, please hit the subscribe button below. That way you get notifications whenever there is a new video out. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the food. Ciao.